the mic off. What's up, guys? How we doing? Happy Groundhog Day, right? Isn't it February 2nd? I don't know. I'm Gun, twitter.com/Gundacker. Joined by Hoodie Raj. Decided, hey, you know what? Let's go on and jump on a stream here. We're in that all-white hoodie. He's currently mourning the loss of Rihanna.
Well, it happens, you know. Why ASAP Rocky out of all people? Like, come on, bro. I think that's an L for her. So, what are you gonna do?
You and Chronic taking that one especially hard. So,
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
Condolences to you, man. You know, I really thought that she was the one for you, but she wasn't.
Going back to Jennifer Aniston. What's she doing? Yeah. She's still single.
What's up, chat? Happy Wednesday, man. Shout out to Junius Grady, Mia Moore in the chat. Shaky Jakey, Nathan Moser, Jay Smooth, Brody says stay warm out here in Texas. Gun, let's put all the money. Yeah, it's getting a little bit cold, a little bit nippy. Right now, actually don't know what to, I know we woke up with our air conditioner on, so I'd assume it's not that, but I know it's supposed to get down to like 19 degrees tomorrow, a little snow in the forecast. 48 degrees with a winter storm warning coming in. All right, how do I take this off before I get swatted? Jesus H. Get off my screen. There we go. But yeah, stay warm out there. It's getting real. AKA Hollywood. Yeah, what up, Skimmer? What up, Crypto? KJ, Faden Edwards was easy cash last night. Bro, I don't know how the T-Wolves scored 130 real points last night, and Anthony Edwards contributed 5 of them. Raj, make that make sense.
I mean, again, it's just one of those things where you would think if they blow out Denver, who's been playing well and blowing out teams, you know, he'd be a catalyst. But one of those games, not going to shoot well. I mean, who even really went off that game?
Taron Prince, former Baylor great.
Right? Yeah, so it wasn't Cat. It wasn't like a familiar face. So
yeah, I mean, Cat led the team in real points, but like Taron Prince showed up and had 23 real points. Jared Vanderbilt had 18 points. It was it was the contribution of many. But
no wonder I'm not winning 100K. Like, how are you supposed to get to Vanderbilt and Prince in that slate?
It's crazy. What up, Robert? What up? E made it happen. White for that snowy weather today, yes, sir. Y'all been getting snow up there in Canada, Raj?
Of course.
I'm assuming you've had snow since like August, right? So whatever.
I mean, it's really not that bad. Only honestly, our big snowfall. Even December was kind of quiet. January, February, we only really had like 2 months of really big snowfall. People assume like we live in Alaska or it snows like 6 months of the year. No, really, it's like a couple months and that's it.
No, everyone has these perceptions. Like when I was growing up. To me, you hear Texas, you think of like deserts and cactus, and it's just like, nope, it's a bunch of city, and there's some cows. Crypto says ASAP Rocky, the one whose jewelry broke live on the air at the BET Awards some years back, shaking my head.
That's Al. That's the Al.
The culture is really taking this one hard, Raj. Like, you guys,
Nick's taking a couple L's, man. Like he losing Rihanna to ASAP Rocky. He lost J-Lo to A-Rod, then to Ben Affleck. He lost. He's getting like strippers pregnant, and I don't know, man. He's taking a couple L's there. Still the man though. He's still Drake.
Honestly, you need him to take some L's so you can get that fire album.
Right.
What up, Elvin? What up, Neville? What up, this is Goodwin, Chris, Gafford? How do you rank these 3? I understand why we're talking about Chris and Gafford, but I don't think Gafford's going to be in play for me today just because, I mean, I know Thomas Bryant is out, but were you going to play Gafford 3 weeks ago against Embiid? Probably not, so I don't really want to jump back into it. Jay Smooth, out here in the land, we're looking at 13 inches of snow starting tonight. My goodness, Jay Smooth. You guys, seriously, stay safe. Make sure you guys are stocked up, right? I made a mistake last year when we had the infamous snow apocalypse in Texas where we just iced up for a week. Literally, like, because you just in tech, you never think that you're just not gonna have access. And I get a lot of my stuff delivered, groceries delivered, order out. For a week, there was nothing online, like it couldn't. So we were eating dry noodles because I was not responsible in checking the weather and keeping stocked up. So not gonna happen again. Make sure you guys are stocked up, and you can survive if the power goes out. Can you check my Twitter mention? I at you in. I are you the guy that just like tagged me with like 5 other analysts? Like that's okay. Just write it in chat, I guess. I don't know. Dacker volume level -1. Here we go again. Raj volume level -8 or 8.
Our volume isn't high.
I don't know. Every day there's been like one person complaining about the volume or whatever, and everyone else is like it's fine. And then like the other day I changed my mic input, and it just made it worse. So I don't know. I would like to see multiple people affirm this this volume inequities. All right, so last night Giannis Antetokounmpo 75 fantasy points was the highest scorer on the slate. Triple-doubled against the Wizards, 38 minutes. DeMar DeRozan, number 2, 29 real points, 10 rebounds, 57 fantasy points. DeJounte Murray, 55 and a quarter, 38 minutes, 27 points, almost triple-doubled, missed a rebound and an assist to get him there. Golden State pulling out the upset there, Raj. How about that? Bam Adebayo, 55 and a quarter, 32 real points for old Bam. Jokic with 54 fantasy points. Game got a little bit lopsided. We only saw 30 minutes out of him. Cat, 54. Kuzma, 51. I was very skittish on Kuzma against the Bucks in a situation that wasn't 1-to-1 to earlier in the season without Bill. But man, that pace kept up and Kuzma kept doing his thing. Hit 3 threes, 4 stocks, by the way. 25 and 11. Jordan Poole with a 50 bomb. Chris Paul with a 50 bomb. Mikal Bridges 49 and a half. Jimmy Butler 48. Devin Booker. No real surprises until you get to like Taurean Prince, who dropped 45 fantasy points in 24 minutes. Had 3 threes, 9 rebounds, 3 stocks. Any other wild names up here? No. Gary Trent keeps it going. Yeah, it wasn't that crazy of a slate in terms of mid-tier guys getting there. It was if you had way more Jokic than Giannis at those prices, that 20-point difference is massive. So I think that was the keys to the slate. Is were you there on Giannis, who sizable favorite? A lot of people tend to stay away from Giannis or any of the studs when they are massive favorites, and that that's a case in point where you don't need to do that because Giannis is Giannis, and yeah. Let's pull up Underdog here, kind of see what we're looking at in terms of news. We've had several bits and pieces of news since I went live for the PrizePicks show, but every day Underdog NBA, shout out to Fan, puts out a tweet at 3 p.m. To kind of keep us updated on what we need to keep an eye on. LeBron James doubtful to play tonight. James Harden expects to play. Night 2 of back-to-back for him. Anthony Davis probable. De'Aaron Fox questionable. He's missed quite a stretch. Yusef Nurkic probable. Jordan Clarkson questionable. Steven Adams questionable. Anthony Simons probable. And Robert Williams probable. So those are what we're watching. What we do know is like Darius Garland's going to be out. We know Kevin Durant remains out. The Utah Jazz gave us no Gobert, no Mitchell, then gave us no Whiteside, and Jordan Clarkson was downgraded to questionable. We know guys like Domantas Sabonis going to be out. So there's already some news that we have that we can work on and go from there. So lots to like, lots to dislike. Do we really got 85 viewers a minute or two into it? You guys are nuts today. Oh, that's a good start. That's a good start. Records, man. 292 concurrent is the record, and like 170 likes. It could happen today. A little hump day happiness, right? Everyone hates Chris says, Ayo Gun, what's good, bro? Do you think you can go over the late slate a little when you get to the end? Yeah, just remind me what games are on that. As long as we're making time, I'm vibing. Gun, you playing Westbrook on Fanduel? I'm playing Westbrook everywhere, Brody. That's the homie, bro. That's the homie. Hey, this stream brought to you by RunDFS.com. You guys want the spreadsheet? You guys want my projections, my player pool, and the prop detector? We're still firing out the PrizePicks fire. Shout out to Josh. Go to RunDFS.com. Click yourself VIP memberships. Get signed up. A couple of the year pass still up, and if you use promo code or coupon code V-Day like this, like Valentine's Day, that's gonna knock off $40 of the year pass. So you could get it for $4.99 minus or $4.99, and then the $150 fantasy crutcher credit, $4.99 minus $150, bro. You're getting like a year for $350. Like that's actually dumb. Like that's stupid. We're losing money on that deal.
Mm.
And then of course, in addition to the spreadsheet, you get access to the premium Discord, and this thing is fire. Raj, what would you do without this Discord? Right? This is like, it's like the new Twitter. You're just always checking it. We're having fun,
right?
And I also just added Super Bowl squares, $15 a square, 10 square maximum, and people are already buying those. So I decided not to wait till the last minute to fill up squares this year. $15 squares, progressive winners every quarter. So if you guys want some of that, hit me up. If you're not in the Discord and you still want to play squares, twitter.com/Gundacker. DMs are open. What up, Jared Bell? Late slate is BK versus Say. Okay, I'm saying when we get there, remind me. Correction, ASAP Jewelers didn't break on air. That was Ace Hood. All right, shout out to winning.
Ace Hood did have that watch that fell apart. Yeah, on air. I remember that.
We good? What up, J. Cole? Keith Seal says them Droid users again. Sounds fine to me. Guys, you know what? I told you guys that we were that I moved my office from where it was, and different rooms in the same house. And in my old bed frame was my old phone. And Danny gave me like an iPhone 10, right? So I had upgraded to this sucker. This thing is like massive, right? Little iPhone, little simpage going on, by the way, on the lock screen. No, I don't know. Anyway, that's how big that iPhone is. I found the small iPhone that I was using forever, little iPhone 5, bro. And it's just like, holy crap, how was I using this thing, man? It's like so small. Like I don't know. Like my phone eats phones that size for breakfast, but it was very convenient because I got locked out of a few things on 2FA with Authy being on that one. So shout out to finding stuff, as Raj would say. When stories don't have a point, just end it with shout out to whatever.
Whoever you need.
Shout out to whatever. Let's talk some basketball, man. Lots of games. So 7 p.m. tip off. Orlando Magic, Indiana Pacers. Projected starting five for the Magic: Cole Anthony, Jalen Suggs, Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., and Mo Bamba. He's got hoes calling up against Karis LeVert, Chris Duarte, Justin Holiday, Torrey Craig, and Isaiah Jackson. 226.5 total, 3.5 point spread in favor of the Indiana Pacers. No Malcolm Brogdon, no Miles Turner, no Domantas Sabonis. Of course, McConnell's still out. Also, no Goga Batadze, and O'Shea Brissett questionable. So we were on Isaiah Jackson as borderline lock button territories on that last slate. It was crazy how not a secret he was on that slate. But going into that game against the Clippers, he was crushing a per minute fantasy point production in terms of efficiency. So he's in line for another shot at 30 minutes today, and up against the Orlando Magic front court, where you need a little bit of size here. Decent amount of stuff to like, and some spots where we fluctuate usage quite a bit, especially on the Pacer side, considering that the biggest usage and impact players in terms of starters: Sabonis, Brogdon, Turner out, LeVert on. I feel like we've wrestled with LeVert for a couple weeks now, and haven't really had that smash game to pay off our research here. But if you are at the slot machine for LeVert, are you ready to get up and walk away, or do you want to stay here? LeVert has a 25.6% usage rate in this split, 31% assist rate, but just about a fantasy point per minute production, and that's kind of been the problem, right? If you are getting a fantasy point per minute at 35 minutes, well, at 7,600, 8,200, depending on what site you play, that really doesn't matter. He's hosting the Orlando Magic. Magic run a slow pace while also having, a bottom five defensive efficiency. So the matchup would be considered plus. If we look at defensive efficiency, the Magic, Magic are bottom 10. What are you doing with the Pacers? I think Isaiah Jackson's still very much viable, very much playable. But I guess the great debate on Karis LeVert, I'm getting him right about fantasy point projection, which is unremarkable at 7.6 and 8.2K. And then talk about this game in general. Do you have any standout plays here, stuff that you're getting excited to put in the player pool?
Yes, Karis LeVert, he's been a bit of an enigma lately. You would think with no Sabonis, no Brogdon, all these other injuries, it's his show, but just hasn't been getting it done. Even last game in a super high scoring game, 122 to 116, 37 fantasy points. Like if you told me that game was going to be that score, I would think he had a 60-point fantasy game. So I don't know, maybe so he has an injury that's bothering him. He's not chucking the shots, only 12, 10 shot attempts the past couple of games. So he's not a lock by any means, but I wouldn't fade him. I think at 8,200 against Orlando Magic, one of the worst defenses in the league, bottom three. It's definitely something you want a piece of at 8,200. He still has that 56-point upside. We haven't seen it in a while now, but I think you just got to keep rocking with him until he gets you one of those big games. And with Isaiah Jackson, I'm all for it. Great game against the Clippers. A lot tougher matchup than Orlando. Shot 12 for 19, took 19 shots, which I'd love to see. 5,400. Hopefully that keeps ownership down a little bit. I think it's a 2010 spot for him again. So I like it. With Goga out, Turner out, Sabonis out, he's going to see all the minutes he wants. Brissett being questionable. I'm not sure if he's questionable. So if he missed last game. If he misses again, even more minutes for Isaiah Jackson. So give me all the Jackson. I love it. Duarte, I think, is interesting too. 5,100. Another guy who's been a bit of an enigma. With all his injuries, you would think he'd do well against. It's Orlando, bottom three defense. I think I gotta have him in the pool. It's just not something I'm going to fade in this spot. Not going to lock him in, but definitely someone to play. And the Orlando side, Wendell Carter Jr. has 6,200. I don't mind. The front court of Indiana is short right now. He should be able to feast. Coming off of a big game against Chicago, I think he can get you 40 fantasy points at 6,200. So I like that. And when it comes to Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs, both can be in the pool if you're running 50 plus lineups. Wouldn't play them together, but one of those guys probably has a tournament winning day.
Yeah, I just think everything about this game, really more so on the Pacer side, I'm not getting like incredible projections other than Isaiah Jackson. I think Isaiah Jackson is the most redeeming play here for the Pacers for my player pool here. LeVert, if his ownership's getting, I don't think it is going to be anything crazy. I think a lot of people are just kind of burnt out on playing LeVert here. But 40 fantasy points, like I said, I'm not that excited here. I'm really wanting to sell out for some ceiling here. So I think Isaiah Jackson. I think the Magic are a little bit more intriguing to me. Still working on their prices to normalize, neutralize, be where they need to be on DK. I also give them a little bit of credit. Some of these defensive metrics are coming down. They're becoming a little bit better, fully healthy. Expect guys like Wendell Carter, Mo Bamba to not be traffic cones, right? So I do like the thought of these guys picking it up a little bit, and I do like the thought of these guys being a little bit more valuable at their price points today. The Pacers defense is actually got a worse defensive efficiency than the Magic on the regular season, and I think if we isolate that even more so to like no Turner, no Sabonis, no Brogdon, like this Pacers defense is we don't really need to lean on the stats here, the season long stats to know that this defense is definitely a step backwards here. So a plus for the Magic. It is a night two of a back-to-back for the Magic here, but I think you could sell me on more Magic than Pacers, and more so on the DraftKings price points. The Wendell Carter Jr. 6,200. I'm getting him at a near 40 fantasy point projection. Franz Wagner's under 6K on both sites. I'm getting right about 30 fantasy points on that. And then Jalen Suggs, Cole Anthony, both guys can give you 30, 40. Cole Anthony may be a little bit more likely to get you 40 plus. So I will sprinkle in some Magic here. I'd probably drive some wedges and set some player group correlations, but Isaiah Jackson I think is the biggest piece to take advantage of here. Looking at the live chat, somebody had mentioned Isaiah Jackson, and I know I read it. Nate says, is 80% Isaiah Jackson too much? Well, that would be contingent on how many lineups you're running, right? If you're running 150, maybe 80% is a little bullish, but I guess it also would be relevant to what the ownership projection is on them. And I haven't touched base with the ownership projections yet. I like to break down the slate first before I really get attached to, or before I start looking at the ownership projections. I just got a comment that says, I can tell you don't watch the Hornets. Was that? Oh, that wasn't on me. Okay.
Watch the Hornets.
That was for Luke's video. I was like, I don't watch the Hornets. Who don't watch the Hornets?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really think anyone really watches the Hornets.
I love Hornets basketball. I watched a lot more games when Devontae Graham was there, but the Hornets, if you don't watch the Hornets, F the players. They have the best commentary team in all of basketball, bro.
Do they?
I mean, they make the most simple plays look like epic all-time greatest moments every game, bro. I'm telling y'all need to watch some Hornets basketball. All right, moving on to the next game. Wizards at the 76ers. Projects 35 for the Wizards. Spencer Dinwiddie, Aaron Holiday, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford taking on Tyrese Maxey, Seth Curry, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid. Night 2 of back-to-back for the Wizards. Spencer Dinwiddie has seen some back-to-backs this season where he didn't play. So I nothing came out to suggest that he wouldn't go today, but keep an eye on that. You never know. Maybe Raul Neto, Aaron Holiday, get some weird lineup that might see Dinwiddie out the mix. But Bradley Beal is out, and last night Thomas Bryant got hurt, and he's out. So a very, very depleted Wizards team without Beal. Bryant, not so much because, Gafford being the starting center was essentially what life as a Wizards team was, a couple weeks ago. So I don't think that's a massive a switch here. But on the Sixers side, Joel Embiid's back after taking a game off where Drummond absolutely nuked the slate. And Joel Embiid has a $12K price point on DraftKings. That's second to just Nikola Jokic. He has put up some MVP-like numbers. 30 real points a game is a good starting point. And then just kind of go from there. Very little resistance in this Wizards front court. And, the 10.5 point spread here might make you a little bit skittish to get behind some Embiid, but like we said last night, Giannis Antetokounmpo showed that's necessarily something you should overthink if the matchup is ripe and the opportunity to get to Joel Embiid is there. Joel Embiid right now, for me, is projected to be the second highest scorer on the slate. From this far out, I got him just above Jokic and just below Luka Doncic. So anyone that has a range of outcome to be the top dog is certainly there for me. And this Wizards front court is something I like to pick on. It has been their weakest spot in terms of fantasy points allowed all year. So I don't need reasons to play Joel Embiid. I need less reasons to play him against the Wizards. So he's going to be definitely one of the studs I'm targeting tonight to get access to. But this Wizards team is a hot mess here, and I think Kyle Kuzma is the most uncomfortable talking point anytime we get Bradley Beal ruled out. Yesterday, I was under on Kuzma. I figured going into that situation, Kuzma without Beal, the recent history was also Kuzma without Beal, without Hachimura, without Thomas Bryant. I was like, all right, there's a couple more mouths to feed. Maybe he's not playing 40 minutes of 35% usage basketball, but Kuzma made a liar out of me, and he put up a 50 bomb. Today's 8,200 on Fanduel, 7,500 on DraftKings. If the Wizards keep this game close, you really feel like he's got to be the catalyst in doing so. Do you have any aspirations to get an aggressive amount of Kyle Kuzma exposure today? And is there anything else in this game other than Joel Embiid that you want to take advantage of? I've already had some questions about Gafford and the front court. Montrezl Harrell would be somebody I'd probably trust the most in fantasy for point per minute production, or just being a guy that can score the basketball. I'm not really there on Gafford, even though he's 3,100. I don't think I need to do that today. What are your thoughts on Sixers and Wizards?
I'm going right back to Kuzma. He did well against Milwaukee, who's a bit more of a tough matchup. With no Bradley Beal, he is their number one option here. 7,500, 50-point upside on DK. Give me all that every day. I mean, I probably tier 2 him, maybe a tier 1, depending on the slate breaks down with injuries. So I really like him. I think Dinwiddie is intriguing. I kind of let the world down yesterday. Didn't really shoot the ball too well, 2 for 9. Got you 9 assists and 7 rebounds. So if he gets you a stat line you predict with no Bradley Beal, maybe 15 points, 15, 9 and 7, maybe pick a steal on a block. He would have broke the slate last game, and he would have been chalked this slate. So at 5,800, I'm going right back to Dinwiddie. I think he's in a great spot against Philadelphia. Give me Dinwiddie there. I'm probably going to stay away from Harrell, Hachimura. I just think Harrell's going to struggle against Joel Embiid. I just don't see him going too well for him here. So probably going to stay away from that center situation in Washington, even with Thomas Bryant out. On Philly, I think Joel Embiid is a lock and load. He's 12K. He's expensive, coming off of rest. It's Washington. Centers have been killing Washington. If this game stays close, which I expect it should, I think it's a 60, 70 point fantasy game for Embiid. Give me all the Joel Embiid here.
J. Cole said Jokic is out. I'm seeing Jokic is questionable. Did
I don't see
so
anything.
I said it like last night. I had a feeling that Jokic might miss this back to back, but I see
Yeah,
questionable J. Cole,
that's questionable too.
but
And Aaron,
definitely smarten me up if he gets rolled out. All right, so
yeah,
Tess, Raj, I got a train in the background right now. Do you
I
hear
heard
it?
that.
You hear it?
I
God
heard
dang
that
it. All
one.
right,
Loud and clear.
all right. Speaking of Spencer Dinwiddie, so yesterday was the first time that Dinwiddie without Bradley Beal got you less than 17 real points, and we run the query here. Spencer Dinwiddie DKP by game log without Bradley Beal last 10 games. By the way, Dinwiddie, as bad as he was of a shooter, he didn't tank your lineups, right? Like he got to 28. Obviously, you want more. But check this out. Real points, 7. That's the first time Dinwiddie got you less than 17 real points. PrizePicks dropped his real point prop to 12.5. Unless he's limited because he has been, babied on back-to-back sometimes this year, 12.5 is so low, like so low. And I guess we kind of missed it. I would throw this at Josh. Josh doesn't seem to, he doesn't like Giddy. I get it. But 12.5 points, that seems really, really low. And that seems, a lot of, it might benefit some goldfish memory because the shot volume was okay there. 9 shots yesterday, a little bit of Drew Holiday defense. Hey, here's Seth Curry, here's Tyrese Maxey. Maybe give me a little bit of Dinwiddie in terms of real point props on PrizePicks here. I can get behind that, right? Getting caught up on chat here. The minute you don't play LeVert, he'll go off. Andrew, man, that's the slot machine, right? Right? You guys are new to the channel. We call that the slot machine. If you're at the slot machine and you just pumped a whole bucket of quarters in there, and you haven't hit, and you got a couple quarters left, and you're like, nah, F this machine. You get up, you walk away, you look over your shoulder, and old Edith, 80 years old, right? Just got off the senior citizen bus. She comes, I'm going to play this Karis LeVert 1 quarter. Jackpot. Don't let Edith take your money, man. But on the same token, if you haven't been playing LeVert, no reason to start now. So, a little slot machine mentality, man. You'll hear it from time to time. E made it happen. Says Kuzma 2.5 free throw over solid prop. You can get behind. I can get behind that, sure. That's the Zeke money train. Zeke Najee. Midday Q leaning out. I agree with that. That's generally my process, but right now I got him as questionable. Moki barely played the 4th quarter yesterday. Yeah, but it's still a back-to-back. He was questionable yesterday with a toe. Back-to-back going into Utah. Altitude, but he's used to it, so I guess that's not a factor. But it is looking like a potential punt game for the Jazz. So maybe they feel like they might be able to steal one without Jokic if they can. And maybe since Boogie didn't play last night, and Jokic did, maybe they swap, and maybe we have a Andre Drummond part 2. Dinwiddie played 32 minutes on the back-to-back. That's good to know, J. Cole. So then I might be the Dinwiddie over 12. Like 12.5 that's below his season average with Beal.
Yeah. I want to smash that. I'd just max it out, but it's also like the whole Dinwiddie, his teammates not liking him is in the back of my head. Like that report came out. They're trying to trade him. He's not real popular in the locker room. They think he's bad.
I mean, like maybe, but
yeah,
that's all hearsay, right?
I know what you mean, yeah.
All right, let's move it on. Let's keep it moving. I got your 6. Any Hornets players you like on PrizePicks? Well, let's talk about the Hornets game, then we'll talk about some potential picks here. Hornets at the Boston Celtics. Project starting 5 for the Hornets: LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier, Cody Martin, Miles Bridges, Mason Plumlee. Up against Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Al Horford. And the Time Lord, Robert Williams, 223.5. So our total 6-point spread in favor of the home team. Home team going. OT, Boston Celtics. No, Gordon Hayward. Kelly Oubre said he'll play today. And on the Celtics side, Robert Williams is going to play. Dennis Schroeder has a Q tag. I didn't get the update on that. Let me see. Schroeder. He's Q with a Achilles. So we'll see if he can go. If he can't go, more minutes for Marcus Smart. My boy Josh said less Schroeder minutes has resulted in better defensive metrics for the Celtics. I don't disagree. But Hornets without Gordon Hayward, at least, is something worth mentioning here. And then, you mentioned Drake. He's a little sad for Rihanna moving on. He might not be the only one looking for revenge. Terry Rozier back in Boston. Man, we have seen some revenge games against Boston pop off. Evan Fournier has entered the chat. Terry Rozier, at least metrically, we can justify him without Gordon Hayward, and an iffy at best Kelly Oubre, even though it sounds like he'll go. Sub 6K, sub 7K on Fanduel, 7,300 on DraftKings. Terry Rozier has some interesting numbers on PrizePicks. Somebody asked about some Hornets players on PrizePicks. Rozier has a point prop of 19.5. He has 4 assists as a prop, 26.5 PRA, and a 32 fantasy point projection. I got him about 37, so there's a little bit of leeway between my projection and theirs, like nice little margin. And then on the assist line, they have him at 4. He's finally come back down there. That was a free square for a bit. Last couple games, just 3. So I guess I'll ask, do you like the thought of Terry Rozier today? Do you like any of the Hornets? I think the bulk of my interest here is picking on the Hornets. Even though Hayward's down, there's still a lot of I don't want to say expensive, but price tags that warrant closer to ceiling outcomes based on how big the slate is. Like LaMelo Ball, I would really need the north side of 50. Terry Rozier, I probably want to knock on 40 plus. Same with Miles Bridges.
Yeah.
What are you liking from this game? I guess start from the Hornets side, and then we'll talk about Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams. All could be fun clicks here. Williams is 7K, a little tougher, but do have some good PrizePicks numbers on him. What are you liking here?
Yeah, so you mentioned, the Charlotte, how they're all kind of priced to their ceiling. If LaMelo Ball was 8,500, I like him more than when he's 9,500. So it's just, I don't think you should stay away from him. If you want to play him, that's fine. But it's just so hard for him to be an optimal lineup at that price tag with the other studs today. Terry Rozier at 73, I think he has a little more meat on the bone. Dropped 50 on Boston. The revenge narrative going back to Boston. This game's in Boston, so I could see him showing out a little bit. So, 40 to 50 fantasy points, very in play, especially with no Gordon Hayward. So I don't mind Terry Rozier. You mentioned Bridges, 8,400 could be a solid 40. If he picks up a few extra peripherals, get you to 50 bomb, which you got against the Lakers. I don't mind it. You could play these guys. I just don't think they'll be core pieces. Boston side, I know one guy who's just underpriced is Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's 8,700 on DK. I think in this spot, he's a $9,500 player. I'm going to lock and load him here. I think he has a floor of 40 in this spot and upside for 50, 60 fantasy points. So give me all the Jaylen Brown at 8,700. Tatum at 10.6. You're definitely paying for him, but it is the Hornets.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think he's good for 40 plus. Upside game will get you 50, 60. Playing him and Brown together could get there, but it's just tough for both of them to have true ceiling games together. But other than that, on the Boston side, you mentioned Robert Williams, centers. He's 7,200 now, so you're paying for it. He still has like a 25-point floor or 20-point floor. So at 7,200, that'll just kill you. So I'm not in love with it. But against Charlotte, he dropped 45 on him last time. I could see him just getting all the rebounds, picking up a few extra blocks and steals here. So I'll have him, but the $7,200 price doesn't make it comfortable.
Yeah, Celtics, especially Robert Williams, the price point been over 7K. That's something I was leaning a little bit more towards getting some action on PrizePicks. We talk about diversifying your daily spend. Williams had some soft numbers on PrizePicks I can get behind. 10.5 rebounds, 10.5 points, 24.5 PRA. But he's such a block guy that 32.5 fantasy points looks nice. I got him at 38. So I'm getting a lot of +5, a lot of +6 margin of differences. And that's why I really like to be keen on attacking some overs. But yeah, all year long, it's been the gospel. Find Hornets, pick on the Hornets, and I'm fine with that. And the same with Tatum. If you felt like 10.6K was a little uncomfortable, Tatum has some numbers on PrizePicks and get behind that 4.5 assist prop. Look at his last couple games: 5, 7, 4.5, 6, 7. The Hornets were in such a fast pace. You get more implied possessions that if you can do more ball handling, that's there for the taking, especially if Dennis Schroeder ends up missing this one. Also with you on the Tatum Brown combo, I tend to not ever do that. Even though the Hornets are a team that maybe could reward that, I'm not doing that here. I typically put them both in a player group on Fantasy Cruncher, and I'll say at most one of these two. That way I don't double down here. And then on the Hornets side here, I'm not too keen on much here. Celtics have really tightened up the defense lately. Like we said, at these prices, you need not necessarily top percentile outcomes, because I do think LaMelo Ball could be 10.5K on any given slate, but you need upper echelon outcomes at these price points where 50 plus fantasy points at 9.5K on DraftKings for LaMelo would probably be the least that you can get away with and live to tell about it. But Rozier has a little bit of meat on the bone, maybe more so on FanDuel. And yeah. Anything on chat? Chat says, E made it happen, says, like Plumlee points over and ball free throws over on PrizePicks, spin the wheel for who gets hot on DK FanDuel. That's fair. Blake got some upside today. Blake Griffin for the Nets. Maybe, I guess what, no Aldridge, just at the lean there. He wasn't really on my radar. And if it's from like a DFS standpoint, I don't think I get to Blake Griffin tonight. Crispy, what up, Crispy? What is up, Gunn and Danny? And what is up, Hoodie Raj? Hoodie Raj
in the building. We chilling, living life.
Wait a minute. Why? I can do this. Hold on. Hoodie Gunn.
Hoodie Gunn in the building now.
Where's my LaMelo? LaMelo. How do you feel about coming off the bench? I'm not coming off the bench. Is that? No, that's stupid. Now I just like Cornholio. This is stupid. Never do that again. Chat, sorry. Hit that thumbs up. Any interest in 5,400 Oubre? Oubre is liable to take 15 to 20 shot attempts, and maybe his defensive matchup is a little bit better, coming off the bench, a little less overlap, but some of their better defenders, guys like Marcus Smart. So I don't mind that. Earlier this season, 2 games against the Celtics, he's averaging 30 fantasy points, so certainly a spot where he's thrived. Earlier this month on the 19th, he dropped 29, so it probably means the other game he dropped like 31, 32. So I definitely don't mind it, but it's not something I have to go out of my way to get access to. 168 already, man, and 50 likes. Let's do it, man. Let's be great. 171 would break the like record on a live stream, and 293 concurrent would break the concurrent viewer record. And we're only 40 minutes in, so I'm liking the pace we got going on here. We might make it happen. Hoodie Gun looks like a flight risk. Come on, man. Wait. No, I can't. Of the 2 guys on the screen right now.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Trying to say my beard might make me look like a flight risk. Trying to say.
Let me quickly move on before I get.
I'm just saying, man. I don't know, with all these crazy right-wing Nazis in the building. I don't know, man. You take off that hat, you might start looking like one of those guys.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. I don't know.
Memphis Grizzlies at the New York Knicks. Quickly moving on as FCC takes me off of YouTube. Projected starting 5 for the Grizzlies: Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Zaire Williams, Jerry Jackson Jr., and Stone Cold Steven Adams taking on Kemba Walker, Evan Fournier, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, and Mitchell Robinson. 217s are total, with a 4-point spread in favor of the visiting Memphis Grizzlies. Steven Adams had a Q tag on him, and Dylan Brooks still out. Adams, let's get the 411, questionable with an ankle. So if he can't go, you might get more bigger minutes for Jackson, maybe at the 5, and then Brandon Clark enters the chat. Stuff like that. No matter what, we kind of expect the pace to be neutral to low. Knicks run one of the slowest paces in all of basketball. But Ja Morant, man, this is the guy that just makes narratives out of everything, right? Narratives about making the All-Star game, narratives about being snubbed, narratives about being flexed off of TV. Like, they find reasons to be motivated. How about being in Madison Square Garden, man? Does that do anything for you? No Dylan Brooks if you just need math behind it. Has the highest usage rate on the team. Will likely take 20 to 30 shot attempts. A lot of those attempts, he's driving to the rack. When it comes to points in the paint, the Knicks are pretty good at preventing them. I think they're top 5 in points in the paint allowed in terms of prevent. Yeah, second. The second fewest points in the paint. He'll drive to the rack quite a bit. So maybe we meet in the middle on Ja Morant. Do we have any free throw props on Ja Morant? Ja Morant free throws. No, we got 1.5 3. Oh, 5.5 free throws made. Ooh, maybe. Something to keep an eye on. But generally, though, I mean, the Knicks are not a team I tend to pick on because they run so slow that they just nuke possessions, and Ja Morant's priced appropriately, and we might get Luka without Porzingis. Luka's a little bit more expensive, but 10.5K on DraftKings, that's a down payment on Luka. What are your knee-jerk reactions on the Grizzlies here? Do you want to get to some Morant in the Garden? He's been 50, 60 fantasy points a game, but at this price point, that's literally what you need on a slate this big.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been on a bit of a scoring tear here. Just 30+ points every single game. It is the Knicks, tough matchup. They're a very slow team. So maybe this is the game where he doesn't score 30+ real life points. But in Madison Square Garden, you mentioned John Morant. I think I'm gonna have some. I think he's more of a prize pick play for me. I think DFS wise at 10-5, I'd rather just pay the extra for a guy like Embiid. If Jokic plays, I'll get to some of him. It's just like even the past couple of games, you see 34, 37 real life points, but only 2 and 5 assists, 5 and 3 rebounds. I think with Desmond Bane back, he takes some of that playmaking, so the assists have been down a little bit. So yeah, probably more of a prize pick play for me. I think the Knicks side is a little bit more intriguing just because Memphis is the team that we like to target. Julius Randle at 9K hasn't been getting it done lately, but I think he's an interesting tournament option. He'll have like under 3% ownership. Past few games, 34, 25, 22, 37 fantasy points. I think a 50 bomb is coming, and this is the spot to do it against Memphis, against Jaren Jackson Jr., so I don't hate that.
Raj, I can't let you disrespect Memphis like this. You do not like to target Memphis. What do you mean, bro?
What do you mean? They're one of the worst. I do. They're one of the worst defensive teams.
Based on what?
Based on John Morant being one of the worst defensive players.
That's about it. Memphis is still about top 10 in defense. Their only hole is John Morant. Jaren Jackson Jr. could potentially be the defensive player of the year. Put some respect.
That's how we get crazy.
No, we're not. We're literally not.
Have you seen Jaren Jackson Jr. play defense?
Have you seen Darren?
Yeah, he cannot play defense. He's getting beat off the ball every single time.
Bro.
I don't know where this illusion is. Maybe Steven Adams helps. Steven Adams is skewing the numbers a little bit, so it makes it look like he's elite defensively, but he's not.
Okay, so he's just averaging 10 blocks and steals a game for no reason, right? This is
all
accidental. I mean, that's a big catalyst in just even being in that category. I disagree. I disagree with what you're saying. I'm just saying Draymond Green went down. Rudy Gobert's missing a big stretch here. I don't think Jaren Jackson's out of the question. Evan Mobley as well, but I don't know, man. I'm not with you on the slander of Memphis's defense. John Morant, he's the hole, but everybody else, pretty strong. Matter of fact, that stretch where John Morant was out, the Grizzlies had like one of the best defensive ratings.
That's the thing. Yep.
Yeah. So
Well, with John Morant back, it's just a pace-up spot for the Knicks too.
I mean, everything's a pace-up spot for the Knicks.
True.
Effing Knicks. So I don't know. I'm not really there on the Knicks though. Maybe Mitchell Robinson sneaks into a couple of extra blocks since the Grizzlies do allow amongst the most blocks per game via the John Morant drive to the rack. But yeah, let's get caught up on chat. Andrew Martinez says, "Who's your highest projected player today?" And just fantasy points, I believe it is Luka and Embiid are very, very close. Hoodie Gun looks like GFS Ted Kaczynski. I don't know what that is. What up, Keith? Keith says, "Hello, Desmond. Desmond Bane. 6,400 Desmond Bane feels a lot better than 7,100 Desmond Bane. I'm with you. Knicks, as slow as they are, they still chuck a lot of threes. And because they restrict points in the paint, we talked about, funnel defense. The Knicks will allow a top 10 amount of points per game via the three ball, which is right up Desmond Bane's alley, right? So I don't mind that at all. I think that's a good catch here. Blocks aren't a good judge of defense. Whiteside is the prime example. Okay. All right. He's also, averaging a steal per game, but whatever. I don't know. Let's what is a good judge? Defensive rating. Let's look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. Jaren Jackson, let's go defensive rating last 100 games. 108.5. Last 50 games, 105.7 in his last 50 games. Rudy Gobert, how far are we from Rudy? He's like 1. Like, I think y'all are sleeping on Jackson's evolution. Anyway. You said Whiteside wasn't a good defender, just a good shot blocker. Yes. Whiteside's more of a rim protector. You can get by him. I think we're sleeping. I do think Steven Adams helps quite a bit, but Triple J literally can't play good defense because he'll foul out if he tries. I disagree. I think his blocks do turn into fouls here and there, but we haven't really had a massive Jaren Jackson like game that got nerfed because of fouls in a while. He was a young player, man. He's evolving, right? There's going to be games with fouls, but 35 minutes, 3 fouls in that last game, 4 or 5 fouls in 30 minutes against Utah. It's going to happen, but I don't know. I think maybe it's starting to get neutralized a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on it. I think this is one we're going to track. All right, we're going to track it. Raj was Mr. Dinwiddie, borderline all-star to start the season.
That's definitely one of my predictions that did not come true. I was big on Dinwiddie. You can't be right all the time. It happens,
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Newton was wrong. Einstein was wrong.
Gun is right like 98.2% of the time. Just that 1.8.
Stop. Now you're wilding out. Stop.
Well, I mean, he's trying to say I'm wrong here. Maybe I am, but the numbers are telling me I'm not really that off base.
Like Gun's right, 54% of the time. I'm right, 72.
Offensive ratings last 50 games. Like who's clamping the most right now? I don't know if StatMuse will give you this, but you guys got me. Let's go this season. So Rudy Gobert is 1 on the season. Allen, Jokic, Jaren Jackson Jr. is top 10 in defensive rating this season, y'all. Like, am I really this off base right now? That you guys are so in this, like, not agreeing. Look at the names. Like, he's above Tatum, above Marcus Smart in defensive rating this season. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I take defiant L's. So even if I'm wrong, I'm going to fight it. But I don't think the numbers disagree with me. Just saying. All right, let's move on to the next game. Rockets hosting the Cavs. This should be a fun game to target for DFS. Project starting 5 for the Cavs. Jetty Osman, Isaac Okoro, Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen taking on Kevin Porter Jr., Jalen Green, Eric Gordon, Jay Sean Tate, and Christian Wood. 219.5 is the total. 5-point spread in favor of the Cleveland Cavaliers. Darius Garland out joining Larry Markkinen and, of course, Ricky Rubio and Colin Sexton. And what we saw in that last game was Jetty Osman drawing the start. Now, that was night 2 of a back-to-back, so maybe they were babying Rondo's minutes. Maybe you get a surprise Rondo start here, but this is fire and ice, right? We take a Cavs team that on the season has one of the slowest pace ratings out there, top or bottom 7 in pace, and they face the fastest pace team in the league, the Houston Rockets, who also parlay that pace with the worst defensive rating in all of basketball. So a lot of extra implied possessions for the Cavs, and also perhaps some usage distribution to be spread around in the absence of Darius Garland. Eddie, appreciate that follow or that sub. So Jetty Osman's 4,600 on DraftKings. I'm getting nearly a 30 fantasy point projection on both sites. I think he's way too cheap. I think the matchup is the matchup, and as long as he's in the starting lineup, or even if as long as we assume he's getting 40 minutes, he's in play for me. I'm curious to maybe go run some on-off court queries after a game of sample size from that last start. Let's pull up Cleveland here. I feel like the dude from Friday ever since I did the bit with the hoodie. There we go. No more locked doors. No more locked doors. Raj, you seen Friday, right? Please tell me.
No, I've seen Friday.
That was a yes, right?
Yes, okay. I've seen Friday.
All right. I don't know, man. You dealing with
I saw it late. Like I saw it late. Like I wasn't. I actually saw it literally 2 years ago. One of those things. So I seen it late, but yeah, I always saw the memes of it.
No more locked doors. All right, Garland, Sexton, Rubio off the court. Shoot, I don't want to put. I want to put Jared Allen on the court. I don't really want to kill everything with Jetty here, but I'm gonna put Jared Allen on the court. He has a 19% usage rate in this split, over a fantasy point per minute. Kevin Love, 27.5% usage rate. He'll be an interesting talking point in the absence of Garland here. He's already been killing it. Abram, appreciate that sub, my dude. Welcome to the channel. What am I looking at? Oh, Cavs. I'm gonna look at the Cavs minute rotation against the Pelicans. We saw Brandon Goodwin play 26 minutes in the game without Darius Garland, while Rajon Rondo again played about 17 minutes. So maybe maybe a tell that they're being careful with Rondo. Again, that game was night 2 of a back-to-back. So maybe Rondo works his way to a stronger threshold of minutes here. But there's a couple of moving pieces to be scared about Rondo getting decent chunk of run here today. But I think what we can key in on is the fact that the Rockets suck, and the Rockets will give up a ton of points in the paint. And my favorite Rocket stat that we attack almost every day is they allow the most steals per game in all of basketball, and blocks per game. Oh yeah, they do that too, tied for our third most blocks per game. So plenty of defensive peripherals to go around. Evan Mobley, a guy that can average almost 3 stocks per game. Same with Jared Allen. I'm in on some Jared Allen exposure. I'm getting over 40 fantasy points as his projection. Same with Mobley. Jetty Osman looking like a smash here. Kevin Love got to a 7K price point on DraftKings. I think that's a little uncomfortable, but 6,200 on Fanduel is, I think, in this matchup still pretty viable. Although uncomfortable, still pretty viable. And he's a guy that I really think has a shot at 6th man of the year. I don't know, something to keep an eye on since we're talking about yearly awards. I think Kevin Love 6th man of the year might enter the chat, even though Tyler Hero is still the odds-on favorite here. Raj, what do you know with the Cavs here? How many Cavs is too many Cavs? I think this is just a glorious spot for this team.
Yeah, I think my highest one guy on the slate might be Cedi Osman today at 4,600. Last game played 38 minutes. He had 12 assists. He shot 3 for 16. I don't expect that to happen again. I think he could drop 50 fantasy points here at 4,600. I think he's the best value on the slate. Could be the best points per dollar play on the slate. So give me all the Cedi Osman. I'm talking 80, 100%. Give me all of that. Jared Allen, 7,700. I think it's a 50 bomb waiting to happen for him. He's going to get the blocks. He's going to get steals against this Houston team that gives up the most. I expect a double-double, 20-10. I mean, it's just a great spot. At 7,700, seems like we're getting a little bit of a discount, so I like that. I mean, if you want to take shots on a guy like Kevin Love at 7K, I don't hate it, don't love it. 3 of his past 4, 40-plus fantasy points. Now it's Houston, the best matchup out of those games, so I like that. And the Houston side, I guess Kevin Porter Jr. revenge is intriguing at 6,600. If he still has some animosity, I could see him having a big game, past 3 games, 38, 34, 36 fantasy points. If he gets a little boost here, I can see him dropping 45 fantasy points at 6,600. I'm probably not getting any Christian Wood at 8,900. It's just seems like a bit of a high price against the Cavaliers front court. That's pretty solid.
Man, I I quoted next Friday, but I just threw Friday out there because of the movie series. But man, it's like cooked steak, man. You guys were quick to say that's next Friday. That's next Friday.
They on it.
They are. We watched a week or two ago. We watched, was it First Sunday or what was it? What's it called, babe? First Sunday. It was Ice Cube and Tracy Morgan. That was a fun. It wasn't as good as the Fridays, right? But it was all right.
I mean, Friday has such a cult following. It's iconic. You can't really, no matter what they do. Like I saw the Chris Rock, they want to do another one, but just like the money now, just because what they're worth is a little more, and they just don't think the story would hold up. Not Chris Rock, like Chris Tucker. Yeah.
This guy doesn't know anything about basketball. Take your hood off. Ow! Rod's got them haters.
Who is this guy? Who's this guy?
Bankroll Theory. Shout out to Bankroll
Theory. Hey, what up, Bankroll Theory? Your girlfriend was fun last night. That's all I got to say to that.
Whoa, dude. Hold up.
All I got to say to that.
Damron says he took away 1 day nights. I didn't take away super chats. Is it not letting you super chat? I don't know. I didn't even mess with any of that. I didn't even know you could turn it off. Why would anybody want to do that? No more locked doors for next Friday. Yo, shout out to Frank. Shout out to Big Checks Only. What up, Super Vash? Craig L. What up, Gun? How do you get fired on your day off, Craig? Let's go. Abram says Jackson or Holmes. Jaren Jackson or Rashawn Holmes. There's a good chance I get to none myself, assuming that's the one. Or do you mean Isaiah Jackson? If it's Isaiah Jackson is my answer over Rashawn Holmes. That's probably closer to what you mean, thinking about price.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go with these 50 bombs again. Let's go. When they robbed the church. Yeah, they robbed the church. It was all right. Don't let this man that he has taken super chat options from the financially challenged viewers like myself.
You took out super chat for
I did. I didn't. Like, I don't even know that. I didn't know you could do that.
Damn! I just refresh, bro. Just log in, log out of YouTube or something. Probably just a little glitch.
I definitely didn't do that, but I don't know. Why would I not want your money? maybe YouTube was like, all right, this dude's sending too much money. I don't know. Chris Tucker, didn't Mike Epps take a spot? Yeah, apparently Mike Epps had some moral obligations against weed or something, and then I don't know. Let's move on. Mavericks hosting the Thunder. What a weird show today. Thunder projected starting 5: Josh Giddey, Trey Mann, Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dort, Jeremiah Robinson, Earl taking on Luka Doncic, Jalen Brunson, Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, and Dwight Powell. We got 206 total, a 12-point spread in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. We go check out this on-off court tool. Very, very significant absence is Kristaps Porzingis. So as a point of reference here, let's put Luka on the court and let's take Porzingis off the court. Also keep in mind that Hardaway's out for the count as well. Putting this split in plenty of sample size behind it. Luka has a 37.6% usage rate and a 46.7% assist rate. The Oklahoma City Thunder, average plus defensively, but offensively really, really bad. Really, really, really bad. So Luka has his hand in just about everything. There's not much to not like about Luka, and I talked about earlier the early run projections actually for me brought back Luka as the highest fantasy scorer on the slate, and that rarely happens when guys like Embiid, Jokic, Harden are on the slate. So it's a really, really fun spot for Luka. Likely going to flirt with a triple double if he doesn't get it. So I'm in on Luka. And the front court's a little bit more volatile. I'm not running to get some Kleber and Dwight Powell exposure, but what I would say is interesting, at least for Kleber, is that he is a block guy. He can definitely compensate for Porzingis, blocks here, and if he moves around a little bit more, 1 block, 3 blocks, those blocks add up for Fanduel and PrizePicks, and this matchup is pretty ripe for blocks. If we look at most blocks per game allowed in the league, behind Memphis is OKC. So plenty of reason to maybe think that Kleber could sneak into be a maybe not the worst value play. I think at this price range, right, it's a down payment on Isaiah Jackson, so we just go there. But it's just something to keep in mind. Maybe you're playing a turbo slater, you're looking for some price pick edges. That could be something you can get behind. Josh Giddey, 6K on FanDuel, 79 on DraftKings. So almost a $2,000 discrepancy in price from site to site, making them more lucrative, in my opinion, on FanDuel than DK. We're wrestling with the matchup, right? The Mavericks do have one of the top defensive efficiencies in all of basketball, but I do think Porzingis is part of that. Dallas is top 6 in defensive rating. So maybe no Porzingis lightens it just a little bit. I don't know. What's a query we can do? Dallas Mavericks defensive rating without Kristaps Porzingis this season. I think this doesn't isolate the minutes, but it gives 104.3. So that's still really good. So it's actually better than what we're looking at. So I it's not a matchup I want to pick on. So I guess what I'm trying to talk into is that Josh Giddey on DraftKings feels like something I can do without. But on FanDuel, 6K is still really cheap for a guy as active as he is. We're not depending on one particular category, especially not depending on him to score. He'll be active. He'll get the rebounds, the assists, the hustle stats. 36, 38, 30-plus fantasy points is still very viable in live at 6K with no SGA. So I think I'm Giddey on FanDuel, not on DraftKings. Do you have any strong differences of opinion when it comes to the Thunder on DK today? And actually, hold up, because we're about to get two donos here.
Let's go.
Here we go.
Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
I took the 199 away. I didn't take the 199 away. Like, I didn't know you could do that.
If you could only play 2 props on PP today, what would they be and why?
All right.
Let's go home.
Let's go home.
Ladies and gentlemen.
I'll look at that.
Vince Carter.
Yeah, dunk contest in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The MF $4.99 super chat works. You took $1, you financial discriminator.
Hey
EF
man,
me.
Gun
I
gets those
just did
few
it,
extra
didn't I?
subscribers.
I promise you,
price
I
tag.
did not do that. I don't know. I don't even know how. Like I don't even know how that's. I don't even know
Maybe
if that's
YouTube
possible.
thing where like after 5K jumps up.
I
Minimum
no,
spends.
that would just no. Anyway, first of all, Brody, damn Ron, I appreciate the donos. That's love. To answer your question, Brody, I'm a sucker for punishment. Dinwiddie over 12.5 points. That's ridiculous. If he's gonna play today, he's not resting or limited on a back-to-back. Yesterday was the first time he didn't drop 17 points without Bradley Beal. Real points by game log without Bradley Beal last 10 games. So I just feel like 12 is awfully low. Yesterday, maybe Drew Holiday got to him. He wasn't hitting well, but look at this. 7 was the fewest he's ever hit. 27, 17, 12, 24 without Bradley Beal. That's a lot of scoring to replace. And maybe Bryant to Gafford is also a boost here. So 12.5 just feels really low on Spencer Dinwiddie. And then another pick that we were on PrizePicks, probably something like a Jared Allen fantasy points, right? Jared Allen has a fantasy point prop at 37. Considering this matchup being so block centric and plenty of rebounds to go out there and grab, I don't mind getting behind some Jared Allen. I have him at 45 fantasy points, so I'm getting just under 10 fantasy point difference. So those are two that I like. We'll have more listed in the spreadsheet in the Discord as we go. If you guys like those picks, you want to tail it, and you're not on PrizePicks, sign up for PrizePicks. Use code Gundacker when you do. They will actually double your first deposit up to $100, and it's also a cool way to support me because every month they sponsor me, man. They say, all right, Gun, you're sending some people here. Here's some money, and I'm like, yes, let's go. We love money, obviously. Damn, Ron, I love money. So, but I definitely did not. I'll look at it, but I don't think I did it. Shout out to the Big D. Yeah, does that bring you back to the biggest D? I don't think it does. Oh man, did Bankroll Theory say something? He said Euro or Virgin. He spelled Euro wrong, but I guess if I correct him on that, that would be something a Virgin does, right? Correct spelling. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's talking to you though. Anyway,
Me.
what was I in the middle of? Oh, I'm gonna ask you about Thunder and Mavericks here. Is Luka one of your favorite plays today?
Oh, good old Luka Doncic. Luka on the spot. I'm saying so. Him versus Embiid.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm probably going Embiid.
They're both double-digit favorites, but
Yeah.
Luke, I mean, Luke is one of those guys. I mean, both of them are going to be heavily involved in being those favorites.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucas minutes I got him leading the team. Remember, no Tim Hardaway. Porzingis
No
opens up a lot of
Porzingis.
usage. Like there's a lot of usage to replicate.
You know what? I think Luka's going to be the highest scoring guy in the slate today. It's OKC. They're not going to play any defense.
That's not true. I think OKC is surprisingly good on defense considering what they're. The thing with OKC that makes them so bad is their offense is the worst. Like they have the league worst offensive rating in all of basketball, and that's with SGA. So you take out SGA, all bets are off, and then you put that against the top 10 defense, the top 5 defense at times, the Dallas Mavericks, top 5. You're expecting some I don't know, some upward hill climbing here. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, with Hardaway out, with Porzingis out, he has to do a lot. I think he should have a 50-point floor here. So I mean, give me some Luka Doncic. I'm okay with that. Probably not running to play him at this price, but I think he's fine. I think the key is the second guy on Dallas who probably gets done today. Maybe it's Jalen Brunson at 6,400. Could he have a big game? I think that's very viable. Or I'm not getting to DFS at 4,400. He's a guy that plays a ton of minutes, but just doesn't get it done. On the OKC side, I mean, Giddey and Dort are interesting with no SGA. Right. Dallas, right? And I think Dallas' defense takes a step back with no Porzingis. So Giddey has 7,900.
It's not as much of a step back like a lateral as you would think. At least not metrically yet. Obviously, it seems perceptually eye test. No Porzingis represents a lot of blocks and spacing. So I don't think it gets better, but I don't think it's like a massive lateral depending on who they roll out as the starter.
Like Josh Giddey versus Karis LeVert. You're going Karis LeVert, right?
Yes.
Like the same price? Yeah. But I do think Giddey's been a little more consistent, I think, lately. I mean, with no SGA. So I
he's got one game against like the Blazers, which is like the best matchup you can ask for. It's completely different than what he's dealing with tonight.
Yeah, it's true. And Dort at 6,500. It's not right to play. I think the only guy in this game I really like is Luka Doncic, and everyone else. It's just, if you get into Dort, you have $6,500 left for a small forward, power forward on DraftKings. I think it's fine, but again, not running to play Lou Dort.
25% usage rate on Lou Dort without Giddey on the court. 24% for Giddey. About a fantasy point per minute plus for Giddey and a little less for Dort. So nothing to be super excited about. Yo, what up, TJ? Shout out to TJ, my nerd friend who makes a lot of money playing DFS. What up, Eddie? Lucas minutes are up a lot in the last few weeks. Yeah, Lucas stands to play a lot of minutes without Hardaway, and then his usage is just that much safer. Anybody watch the new Boba show? Man, I don't want to blow up the chat. We're already blowing the chat up with some like controversy.
Yeah.
I've never seen Star Wars, any of them, even the little TV shows. So I wouldn't know what I'm watching with the Boba thing, but it looks good. You know, it looks good. You know what else looks good? A membership at RunDFS.com. Click yourself. RunDFS.com. Click yourself VIP memberships. Find something right for you. The year pass, $5.39. Promo code VDAY. There's a couple of charges left on that. It was limited to 5. You'll get access to the spreadsheets and all that good stuff. Also, access to the Discord and Super Bowl squares. We threw out the thing this morning if you guys want in on that. $15 a square. I decided to go ahead and start the collection plate early because usually I wait to the last minute and then I'm spending my Sunday morning on Super trying to fill it out. So we've already got people reserving their spots. So the way that's going to work is first quarter, I think it's 300, then 400, then 500, and then 600 for the fourth quarter. Don't quote me on that, but it's like a progressive price. So if you guys want in on that, there's only 100 available, and I think 20 have already been sold. So you got to act fast. Everyone hates Chris. Don't trip. I ain't never seen a Star Wars or anything. And it's not like Star Wars is nerdy. I'm not watching that. It's like, I don't even know where to begin. And I remember last year I put it out there. I was like, I've never seen Star Wars. If I wanted to start, where do I start?
I'm not a big Star Wars guy.
Literally every reply was a different order of how to watch the movies. Like,
the movies are apparently they're made in different orders. Yeah. For the record, Harry Potter better than Star Wars. Take that to the bank. Shout out Harry Potter, Ron Weasley, Hermione Granger. That's a great movie. Star Wars is such overrated. I think the Star Wars was great like the 70s. You know, the action movie was a new thing. But now it's just very overhyped and overrated.
I haven't seen Harry Potter either, but what I have seen is the Brooklyn Nets play basketball. I'm weird for not seeing Harry.
Weirdo, 100%. Not seeing Harry Potter, you're 100% a weirdo. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
That has to be the weirdest. What?
Everyone loves Harry Potter.
I got a show to run here. Brooklyn Nets, the Sacramento Kings. Project starting 5 for the Nets. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, Patty Mills, Kessler Edwards, Nick Claxton. Taking on De'Aaron Fox, maybe Tyrese Halliburton, Harrison Barnes, Mo. How could you be so heartless? Rashawn Holmes. We got a 231.5 total. 4-point spread in favor of the visiting Brooklyn Nets. Nets, night 2 of a back-to-back. Played against the Suns last night. Their defensive matchup gets a little bit better here against the Kings. So we'll start with the Nets side. What we do know is that Kevin Durant is out. We know LaMarcus Aldridge out. So all of the usage there for Harden and Kyrie. The seesaw has been assist percentage Harden, shot percentage Kyrie. And that was kind of what we saw last night as well. If we pull up the Brooklyn Nets on the season and we start tinkering with some on-off rules, we'll put Harden and Kyrie together. I can't even read chat right now, but I see it in my peripheral. It's just going nuts. I'm Paul. Appreciate that sub. By the way, did I miss it? Travis Webb, appreciate that sub.
Bunch of Star Wars weirdos in the chat.
Well. So I feel like even if I was anti-Star Wars, it would not behoove me as a growing content creator looking for follows to start a war with one of the biggest cult followings in all of
Team Harry Potter, baby. That movie just grew with the cast. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
I remember my grandma one year as a Christmas present bought me every Harry Potter book hardback. And I was, oh, thanks, Grandma. I go home. I don't read Harry Potter, so I donated it to the school library. They still have those books.
Let's go home.
Let's go home.
Let's go home, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go home.
Y'all are nuts.
Let's go home.
My boy, great filibuster.
It's a great movie too, if y'all know. Just
Did
Go With
Kevin
It.
Porter
If
keep
y'all know
Curry's
about Jennifer
G-Ride
Aniston,
after
Adam
getting
Sandler,
no
Just Go With
play?
It. Great movie.
Yeah, you ruined it. Did Kevin Porter Jr. key Curry's right after that? Yeah, Kevin Porter. Did you see that, Raj? Kevin Porter Jr. just kind of
Stared him down.
stared down. And
Got
Curry's
it.
like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah." So
I saw
stare down Jetty Osman, see what happens, young blood. Anyway, 104 minutes sample size this season. James Harden, 27% usage rate, 26% for Kyrie, a 38.5% assist rate for James Harden. Great filibuster, by the way. Appreciate that $20 dono. That's love. Shout out to Great Filibuster. You guys are crushing it today. I can't even. I'm scared to read chat. So a lot of fantasy point per minute goodness out of Harden and Kyrie. You parlay that against one of the worst defensive ratings in all of basketball, the Sacramento Kings. There's a lot to like here, especially if you trust this 37-minute projection on both Harden and Kyrie. Sacramento coming in with the second worst defensive rating. So a lot to like. And without LaMarcus Aldridge, even more likeliness that they score a lot of the real points. Kings, without De'Aaron Fox, have shown a boost in usage and fantasy ceiling for Tyrese Halliburton. If that is the case again today, the Nets, without Kevin Durant, their defensive rating could compete with one of the worst in the league. So plenty of upside here to pick on. Halliburton last couple games without Fox, 37, 40, 35 minutes in games that stay quasi-close. And we've seen a wide range of outcomes, but I think because of the defensive inequities of the Nets here back-to-back, I think 40-plus to 50-plus is not an outlandish range of outcome, assuming Fox doesn't play again. If Fox did play, I would imagine with this many games off, he'd be somewhat limited, or at least perceptually limited, so I'd be a little bit hesitant. Harrison Barnes implied for a lot of minutes here, 36 minutes there, about 6K on both sides I can get behind. And then Rashawn Holmes, 5.7, 5K. No Marvin Bagley. I'm getting him close to a 30-minute projection. I don't mind picking on the Nets front court, but I do think at this price point, somebody had asked Holmes or Jackson earlier. I'm probably leaning on Isaiah Jackson just a little bit more to prove in his situation. So that would be my split there. If Fox can't go, we've seen in the absence of Terrence Davis, more minutes for Davion Mitchell, Buddy Hield. So those would be two guys to consider. Raj, do you see yourself on a slate where Luka, without Porzingis, exists? Like, do you see yourself getting to Harden at all in your batch of lineups? I don't think you're running with it. You're what, a couple lineups, 10 lineups, 20 lineups?
Yeah.
Harden expendable with Luka, a little bit more, or do you have interest in Nets?
I mean, I think I'm going to have interest in next. I think Kyrie Irving, he's 10-1 to get the price bump, but still Kyrie Irving against Sacramento could be a 50-point spot here, 50 plus if he gets 30 real life points, a couple peripherals. Don't hate it. I think Harden could outscore an Embiid or Doncic. I think I'll edge Embiid or Doncic, but I don't think it's like a snap call. It's definitely not like a strong take. I think if I'm running 150 lineups, he'd be in the pool, maybe as a 10, 20%er. I don't think he's ever a bad play. With no Kevin Durant, it's going to be him and Kyrie show doing their thing. Sacramento side, I love Halliburton here. I mean, if Fox sits, Fox is out, he's questionable again. I think if Fox sits, Halliburton's tier 1 for me, 8,500 against this Brooklyn team that's not going to play a lot of defense here. I would just lock him in. One of my favorite plays on the slate. And other than that, I mean, probably no one else.
Yeah, I had to get caught up on chat. That was hilarious. I don't know what this Phil guy's doing in chat right now, but yeah, I don't know if that's real. But yeah, we gotta keep an eye on the Fox news. If he gets rolled out later, and I definitely would be late swap opportunity on Halliburton at that price range, especially on Fanduel, 7,600. A lot to like there. And then we've got a couple more games, so let's move on. Denver Nuggets at the Utah Jazz. Project starting 5 for the Nuggets. Monte Morris, Will Barton, Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, Nikola Jokic taking on Mike Conley, Jordan Clarkson, Bojan Bogdanovic, Royce O'Neal, and I don't know who would start here. Could be Udoka Azubuike, could be Eric Pascal, maybe Norvell Pell. I don't know if he's still on the team. I'm really not entirely sure what to expect out of the Utah Jazz starting five. Maybe Royce O'Neal here. I was talking about how the Utah Jazz played Denver a few times this season, and one of those games Gobert was out. And one of the common denominators, at least in the last 3-4 games for Jazz against the Nuggets, has actually been Bojan Bogdanovic. And without Donovan Mitchell and Jordan Clarkson getting that midday questionable, I think it's reasonable to suspect that Bojan Bogdanovic just might lead the team in use. I don't know about usage, but shot attempts, which I guess should mean usage. I think Bojan could be a real fun play here at the end of the night. DKP by game log versus Nuggets. Let's go last 5 games. I think 2 of his last 4 were like 60 fantasy points or 50, something like that. Yeah, 61 and 66 in 2 of his last 4. One was, last May, but this season, this year, January 5th, almost 62 fantasy points in 30 minutes. And we pull that game up. That was in Denver. I'm pretty sure it was a Gobert out game. And also, starting lineup was normal, just no Gobert. Donovan Mitchell played. And yeah, so I'm kind of interested in Bojan Bogdanovic as, maybe one of the efficient late night hammers at 5,200 on FanDuel. I'm loving the 30 plus fantasy point projection, and I think his viability only increases if Jordan Clarkson midday Q turns into an out. So something to watch. On the Nuggets side, we did get Jokic questionable. We also got Boogie questionable. Got to assume Jokic is in until he's not. If he's in, he's going to project as one of the highest raw point fantasy accruers on the slate. Very little path of resistance. I was excited to play him against Whiteside, but really no one's going to get me off of Jokic here. I think that's an automatic take. If Jokic is in, we're going to get to some of them. Do you have any leans on what to do with the Jazz? Because I think some people are just kind of bracing for a Jazz punt spot, but I don't know. I think Bojan's clear no matter what. We got no one. It was Clarkson questionable, Whiteside ruled out. So it's not like Mike Conley or anybody is suspected to miss. And Mike Conley is 6K on FanDuel, 7K on DK. So the FanDuel price points for the Jazz, if the news falls the right way, 6K Conley, 5,200 Bojan, that's very attainable. And even Eric Pascal might open up. What are you thinking with the Jazz?
Yeah, I mean, Mike Conley at 7K is not a price tag I want to pay for him on DK. Again, you can get there. I think mid-30s is fine, but you definitely want 40 plus at that price tag. It's not running to play that. Jordan Clarkson at 6,400, and that's a guy I want to target with no Mitchell. He should get a bigger scoring load here. I think it'll end up being competitive games. I think Jordan Clarkson will get some serious fourth quarter run and could definitely win you a tournament, so don't hate that. You mentioned Eric Pascal. Someone's going to have to play center for them. I remember last time it was Eric Pascal who had like a crazy shooting game. He broke the slate. Let's go find that again. Yeah, he had 36 fantasy points against Toronto when he started at center and was doing his thing. So don't hate that. Going up against Jokic, going to be a tough defensive matchup, but he can still get his buckets. He's going to sit in the corner and shoot.
Chad, is anybody else having problems? Underrated world. I think you were the one that mentioned mic issues the other day, and I went to fix it. And it turned out like you were the only one that had, I don't know if it was you, but I remember the other day somebody else was complaining that my mic was low compared to Raj. If everyone can agree that that's the case, I can turn Raj down. But I need to know that it's not just a one-person thing, because I created like a 5-minute mess the other day. Clarkson mics it. Yeah, he's good. I'm good going. All right. Underrated world, man. I don't know, bro. We can hear you, but Raj is louder. Okay, Raj is louder. I kind of had that idea, so I could turn Raj down a little bit. Maybe that's what he means. It's just like Raj is yelling. I'm a little softer. Raj louder. Okay, all right. That'll work it. Daniel House sneaky. Yeah, Daniel House might get some run. Rudy Gay might be leaned on a little extra. So a couple ways for this game to shake out. Has there been any line movement since this news has had time to have some dust settle? Turn Raj 10%. Turn Raj off. Somebody said anyone who prefers Harry Potter. What is it? Men that love Harry Potter have pronouns in their bio.
No, not that. But hey, I mean, Harry Potter is a great film series. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Great film
out. Okay. Raj is just a lot louder. All right. I think that's all right. I think we're good. You guys think this is better? Raj, just say ignorant stuff that you're used to saying.
Cups of that rose.
All right, I don't know. I think that's it.
Old phone. Just a drizzy on. I've been in this club too long. The woman that I would try is happy with a good guy.
Okay.
I was gonna stop there. I was like, that's where Drake's gonna continue it when he drops the second one.
80 likes, chat. 230 of the realest OGs in all of YouTube. Hanging out, man. I need you guys to do better on them likes, though. 170 is the record. I don't expect y'all to set records, but if you want to be great, be great. Get us to 120 plus, man. And then I think I dropped my phone. But today, Raj, I went to bed with 6,200 subscribers. Okay, that sentence. Jesus.
I mean, hey, gotta live life out here if you're living like that.
Pause. I when I went to bed, I had
pause, no, that's cool, but like,
no, it's not cool. What do you mean? I need water. I had 6,200 subscribers when I went to bed, and we've gotten almost 25 to 30 more since then. So you guys are crushing the subs. I think this channel has never grown at this pace ever. So humbled. So if you guys are out there, that red subscribe button still lit up, click on it. And while you're down there, hit that thumbs up. Main event tonight, the Portland Trailblazers up against the Los Angeles Lakers. Project 35 for the Blazers. Anthony Simons, CJ McCollum, Norman Powell, Robert Covington, and Yusuf Nurkic taking on Russell Westbrook, Malik Monk, Avery Bradley, Stanley Johnson, and Anthony Davis. Got a 223.5 total. Lakers favored by 3 and a hook. What the hook gonna be?
Surprised they're favored.
See, now you sound soft again. You're surprised the Lakers are favored? The disrespect.
I mean, the way they've been looking like without LeBron James, yeah. I know Portland's shorthanded too, but
Rod, you're trolling me, right? Did you move your mic after I just moved you down?
Wait, yes. First, my mic was a little high, so I just like brought it a little close to my mouth. I feel like. Let me see if my volume is maxed. Hold up.
All right. No, that's fine. I just literally don't change nothing, but don't change stuff after I change.
Gotcha.
Now we're just trolling. Now I'm louder. All right. No. So Anthony Davis, Westbrook on, LeBron James off the court. Westbrook and AD lead the team in usage. No surprise there. 29.8% on Westbrook, 30% on AD, 41% assist rate for Westbrook. So we talked about Westbrook's assist prop on PrizePicks earlier, and somebody, well, he didn't do that against Charlotte, and then it led me to reminisce on what the starting lineup was for the Lakers in that game. But Westbrook and AD now have a spot against a very, very, very beatable defense. Portland Trailblazers have a defensive rating that is top 3 or bottom 3, depending on which way you look at it. So I'm willing to have a little bit of faith in Westbrook. Westbrook at 8,500 on FanDuel. You can give me some of that. And Anthony Davis, 9,600 on FanDuel, 10.2K on DraftKings. We look past the memes, the locker room trips. In his last 2 games, he's given us 38 and 34 minutes. So I'm not worried about minutes restriction with a doubtful LeBron James out there. So I like a lot about the Lakers. And then for Russell Westbrook's assist propensity, Malik Monk looks like he'll be ready to go. And if he rejoins the starting lineup, that's a better shooter that Westbrook can bank some assists off of. So I might get into some Westbrook assist overs at 9.5 right now. Up against the Blazers. Blazers are still kind of cannibalizing each other at these prices, but they're getting better, right? 6.5K Simons, you can get behind that. McCollum's still around 8K. I think that's the right price for him, but he still has room for upside, meat on the bone, if you will. Yusuf Nurkic, 7.6K, 8K, looking for 40 plus. I'm a little less enamored with the Blazers 1x1, but I think I throw them in the pot, spin the wheel, make a deal. But the Lakers feel like I'm either going to get full on trapped and have to answer to Russell Westbrook memes all night when he airballs 5 threes from half court, or I lean on Westbrook at 8,500 being ridiculously too cheap, and AD playing too many minutes for 10K without LeBron James. What are you thinking about the Lakers in this late night hammer game?
I mean, Anthony Davis has definitely looked well. Looking like the Anthony Davis of old a little bit. I could see him really taking over this game. I wouldn't be shocked if he was the highest scorer on the slate tonight. I think he can have a really big 30 points, 15 rebounds, 3-4 blocks. Just really stuff the stat sheet. So I like him at 10-2. Russell Westbrook at 9-4. I think there's a lot of meat on the bone there with no LeBron coming off a back-to-back 50-point fantasy games. I think it's a spot to get into at 9-4. He's just cheap. So I think pairing those guys together is very interesting. And the Portland side, still no Lillard. probably don't want to. Nurkic is questionable. He's probable, so that's fine. Probably don't get to him against AD. I think if I'm going to attack the Lakers here, it's going to be through CJ McCollum at 8-1. I think he can definitely get it done here. I haven't seen a huge, kind of slate breaking game that you would expect with no Damian Lillard. Just with kind of Simon's doing his thing too. But I think this is a spot he could have one of those. So at his price tag at 8-1, I like that. Other than that, I don't think I'm getting to any Norman Powell, Covington, or any other Portland guys.
Yeah, should be Simmons is probable, but a Q tag, so that's always fun.
Yeah.
There's a right hip contusion. So yeah, I'll have some Blazers kind of like tier 3 to there, and where they fall, they fall. But I'm definitely leaning a little bit more on the Lakers side with Westbrook, AD, and Malik Monk kind of leading the pack in terms of guys that I like the most. I'm sure Frank Vogel will find a way to make me hate the starting lineup. But from now, I dig it, and that is our slate. So chat, we're doing great on time. I probably got 15 minutes of spare time. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, game theories, guys you want to 1v1, guys whose situation you want to look at, throw it in chat. Reminder that I did bust open the Super Bowl squares. Let me click the spreadsheet. I don't want to leak the link here. So I'll click it on the second screen, which should bring it up on the main monitor. But this is what we're dealing with. It's going to be $15 a square, 10 square max. Already sold 20, so I have to adjust it. But the first quarter is going to be $200 payout, then $300, then $400, then $600 for the fourth quarter final. So if you guys want to get on that, it looks like these are going to sell out pretty quickly. You don't have to be a VIPer. You don't have to be in the Discord. I would like to serve those guys first, but I think everyone's got a fair shake now. So twitter.com/gundacker, hit me up and we'll get you set up on that. And then, so let's talk about some slate specific stuff, and then maybe a couple of PrizePicks thoughts in the mix here. If you guys are out there and you're not on PrizePicks yet, I don't know what you're waiting on, but they have been probably one of the better sponsors that we've worked with, endorsements that we've worked with. So they really take care of me, so I try to take care of them. We're serving some great content for them. A lot of prop hunting success here.
Great product too.
It's fun. It's good. Yeah, it's really good. So go check that out. And if you sign up, use code Gundacker, they'll support me, and then they'll also give you double your first deposit up to $100. And everyone's happy. They added Pro Bowl props for this weekend. Patrick Mahomes, 68.5 passing yards is his prop. I don't think I'm a psycho enough to bet Pro Bowl props, because you just don't know how many drives people play, but that's something to keep an eye on.
That's aggressive. Pro Bowl props on like the All-Star game is. Yeah, that's very degen.
Yeah. But they have not just basketball, hockey, PGA, MMA, soccer. Is this Australian women's basketball? Is that true? Is it AU? Is it college basketball? And I'm just an idiot. No, they have women's college basketball, and then they have AUWB, which I'm assuming is Australians women basketball. COD, Call of Duty. I saw them chopping up Call of Duty splits in the Discord today. Just animals. Absolutely animals. Eddie says your stuff started showing up my recommended, so that's a good sign for your channel. I appreciate that, Eddie. That's good to know. Shout out to YouTube for making us Yankees all day. Let's go, Kiefer, Marquise Chris. So I've heard a couple of you guys mention Marquise Chris. I get it. No Porzingis. He's definitely live to one start, or even be implied for more minutes. Chris historically has been a big foul guy. That scares me. So if you're leaning on him a lot, the fouls are in trouble, but he is a big block guy, big stocks guy. And if, the Thunder matchup being a top 2, top 3 spot for blocks, 3K as a forward eligible guy for Marquise Chris, I could get behind that. Yeah, I could get behind that. I guess I did gloss over him too much. But Marquise Chris is fine. I would like to see him in the starting lineup to feel ultra confident. But I think he should be live. Let's see. What was his rotation in that last game to assume if he's next man up or not? Right now, I had Claybot and Dwight Powell in the front court. Marquise Chris did come into the game in the first quarter, though. So he is an active part of the rotation. Yeah, I guess 18 to 20 minutes. I think that can get you. I think you would really need to get high 20s as a return to make some noise in tournaments. And why did he close the first half? Did Dwight Powell was in foul trouble the first half, it looks like. looks like one foul in that second quarter run, and then no, I don't know. He closed over foul in the first half. It was foul just in straight up foul trouble. Yeah, I don't mind the thought of Chris, but the minutes scare me. So yes on Chris, but I wouldn't go all in unless like we felt good about him. I don't know, starting and getting big minutes. Where do we get the squares? So if you're not in the Discord, it's a PayPal thing. You pay via PayPal. It's $15 a square, and I coordinate that. I'm not gonna do transactions on the stream, but hit me on Twitter, twitter.com/Gundacker. Dameron says, I have a question. How many days left before Dameron rides off into the sunset? Never. Dameron's never retiring. If he is, he's gonna come back with like a new gimmick, alter ego. Do you guys like Kevin Porter Jr. over 6.5 assists tonight?
6.5 assists for Porter. I'd probably hit the over on that. I'm not in love with the prop. I like Jason Tatum's prop. Shout out Josh for that one. Against Charlotte a little more. There's better assist prop, but I don't think that's crazy. I probably like Porter's point prop if you're going to be aggressive on him today.
He has cleared 6.5 for 6-7 straight games. Yeah, I don't really see a reason to dislike it. I would say
this is the toughest matchup so far.
Yeah, this is the toughest matchup. At Utah is pretty tough, but yeah, I'd get some action on that. I think that's a good call. 6.5 assists. Gun on the late slate. If Joker and Boogie are out, who will have the best value, Utah or Denver? So Denver might throw out JaMychal Green. And I guess he would project really well. I don't know how many minutes we might get. We might get Aaron Gordon. So if Utah is going to be small too, you might just get some Aaron Gordon, Jeff Green, front court, Zeke Naji, guys like that. So yeah, I would probably say that those three. So I guess Denver would have more value because their price points aren't really caught up to where they need to be. If Jokic was out and Boogie was in, obviously Boogie at 3,400 is way too cheap. Another 20. Yo, these donos today. Shout out to Phil. That's coming in hot. I'm coming in hot. So yeah, I guess the Nuggets will give you more value, and then also I guess we'll have you prepared for that. Let's run a query for the Denver while this.
Let's go home.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
Let's go home. Let's go home.
For you newer guys to fantasy searching for good info, stop right here. This is your regular player comfort conversation. Awesemo, RotoWire can overanalyze if you roll 10 to 20 lineups. This is your dude.
1, I appreciate that. 2, Osmo's still the GOAT. And you still catch me on Osmo. So, but
numbers don't lie. Osmo doing his thing.
Yeah,
Shout out.
Their content is just like second to none. So, but I appreciate that. Like I definitely.
I do think
the vibes are right.
One on that team, but
So if Jokic ends up not playing tonight, the numbers that you guys should probably have in mind. Will Barton has a 26% usage rate, about a fantasy point per minute, a 22% assist rate, and then JaMychal Green about a fantasy point per minute, so he'll be underpriced. I don't know that I would believe that JaMychal Green gets like a ridiculous amount of minutes, but he should be next man up if DeMarcus Cousins is also out. Jeff Green 21% usage rate, so looks like Will Barton would be the guy that you want to get into if you got Jokic out later in the night. But hey, Phil, I appreciate that dono, man. You guys are nuts. I don't know what the tally is, but I feel like you guys are like close to $100. Maybe I'm stripping 5, 10, 30. It's 50. It's half 100. But man, you guys are nuts today. I appreciate that. Novelty props. Yep. Chandler says, think we can go Harden and Murray in cash. Murray. Gotta help me out here. Do you mean Kyrie? Did you get auto corrected? Somebody help me out there. How many fantasy points are you projected for Malik Monk tonight? Right now for Monk, I have 34 Fanduel points, 33 DraftKings points on a 33-minute projection. No hating me. Appreciate that. Congrats on 6. Yo, Donovan, that's love. Appreciate that. Yo, we might get 7K real quick. I'm telling you, we're thumbing. We're getting like 100 subs a week. It's nuts. But Murray. What do we mean by Murray? Let me type in Murray because DeJounte comes to mind, but he's not on the slate, right? So, and I should know. I think he got auto-corrected, and I'm tripping. Get caught up. PrizePicks should add coin flip props. Maybe. Maybe. There's a lot of PrizePicks added like target props, and I thought, I've been joking about minute props, but I feel like that could be a fun line to bet, right? Player minutes.
I would bet Deontay Johnson over for targets.
And you know how like they have free throw props, like maybe they'll set like foul props, so you could personal foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, stuff like that. And then you're sweating like hack-a-shacks at the end of the game. Come on.
For the player minutes, it's just hit the over on every Raptor every game or starting 5 Raptors. Easy money.
Yeah. Damien says, what do you have Isaiah Jackson projected for? So right now, Jackson is projected for in my stuff. I got him for a little less than 30 minutes, about 40 fantasy points on both sites. Hanging on the O'Shea Brissett information, but I think he's safe no matter what for these minutes with no Bataze, Turner, and Sabonis. And then just from a value standpoint, all this stuff I need to tighten up, tighten the screws, and I'll keep tightening it as we get closer to lock. I'm going to be in the pre-lock Discord voice chat. You guys are welcome to come join that as well. Behind the paywall at rundfs.com. But in terms of just like great value plays, I do have Marquise Chris up there, so you guys are on to something. Yeah, Brandon Goodwin's projecting okay for his price, but not a big fantasy scorer. Eric Pascal, I think we can get some work. Isaiah Jackson looks like the greatest value when you really put some weight on the raw fantasy points for the price point. So that's kind of where I'm at. And then him and Jetty Osman without Garland against the Rockets. So give me Jetty Osman and Isaiah Jackson as potential like cash game cores, and then we'd go from there.
Quick thing with Isaiah Jackson, why do you only see 29 minutes though against the Clippers? I expected like a 35-minute type of game. Like no Goga, no Turner, there was no Brissett.
We can look at it.
Who played the other minutes? Just seems a little strange.
Terry Taylor. By the way, Terry Taylor actually put up a solid game that day. I didn't know who Terry Taylor was. When I think of Terry Taylor, I think of the rooster gimmick from old WWF. You wouldn't know it, but you wrestling fans out there, he was a legendary wrestler. Terry Taylor played 20 minutes, so that's probably why. Yeah. Unless you somehow have Westbrook projected higher in Fanduel than DK. Oh, you think I have the column labeled miscorrectly? Westbrook 49 Fanduel points over DK. That would probably be right because of the steals. I'll double check though. Looking at my player projections tab, I know he does do a lot of turnovers, so I guess what you're saying is the -1 versus the -0.5 a point. But he also gets steals, so maybe Westbrook. We'll double check. I have Westbrook at 44.9 on DK and 49. So no, I got him for more Fanduel points, but I think it's because of the implied steals and the matchup. I was at Home Depot earlier today and heard some chick drop a year. Shut up, Jordan.
Hey,
shut up.
Maybe if you're in New York, people definitely do that.
The Red Rooster. What up, Ocean? There you go, Red Rooster. What are you projecting for Joel Embiid? All right, we'll wrap it up on a couple more. But Joel Embiid, I'm sitting on about 60 fantasy points on FanDuel, 57 on DK on a 35-minute projection. He's rested. Now, Andre Drummond carried the load for him last game, man. Chat, tomorrow is still a super fat slate. I said it earlier. We have big slates really up until the All-Star game. There's a couple. I think there's like 1 4-gamer. Tomorrow's another big slate as well. Officially, I have jotted down on Thursday 6 games tomorrow. So nice little wheelhouse slate. We have a little fun with that. Then 9 games on Friday. And then it looks like Saturday you guys might expect a live stream on this channel. And that's something new. I haven't done a lot of live streams on Saturday on this channel, but we'll probably do one this weekend. So if you guys want to add me to your Saturday rotation, that should be legit as well. Rod, you're back tomorrow, all right?
Should be good for tomorrow, yeah.
All right, so we'll have some more fun tomorrow. Did you subtract 18 for the turnovers, man? They hating on Brody, man. They hating on Brody, but it's all good, man. that you guys have been nuts today, this week, whatever. The subs are nuts, man. We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep the vibes high. I'm gonna be in the RunDFS.com NBA VIP Discord up until lock. You guys want to come join me, man? Come join me. Go to RunDFS.com, make yourself an account, and come right over here. Click NBA chat with the thing. You're in there for the voice. Raj, hot take for the road.
Hot take for the road. I don't know if it's hot take, but Senny Osman, 40 fantasy points, DraftKings points.
Works for me.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a hot take. Works for
I really
me.
like it though, yeah.
I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.
We'll be right back.